When it comes to eczema, the top strategy involves eating. Eczema is a classic example of an immune system disorder that shows up on the skin, much the same as psoriasis is an immune system disorder. The skin is, next to the digestive tract, the most important component of the body's defensive system. As you can imagine, the skin is constantly in a battle with the environment. It's on the outside part of the environment. It's in nature. The divine force has set up a system where the body's army defense department will be located to a large extent on the skin. Next to the digestive system, most of the army, most of the defense department is in the skin. So when you have some kind of attack, something that's going on that's activating the immune system, you're very likely going to end up with some kind of skin reaction like eczema or psoriasis. So first and foremost, you got to associate the breakouts, the eczematic breakouts, with specific kinds of foods. The most likely suspects are going to be, as I'm sure you've heard me say a million times, dairy, eggs, grains of all kinds, not just gluten. Don't even say the word gluten. It's grains of all kinds. There's lots of things in grains. We talked at length a couple months back about lectins, which are gluten-like substances that are found in all grains. It doesn't matter if they're gluten-free. All grains. Dairy, grains, eggs, legumes, which include peanuts and soy. And legumes are kind of beans. These are the most likely suspects, but it could be anything that can trigger eczema. Tomatoes can do it. Spinach can do it. I hear people say, oh, I eat well, I eat really good, I eat really clean, thinking that, they're all eating all vegetables. And it turns out that they had a problem with tomatoes or a problem with peppers. So any kind of food that triggers an eczematic response that makes the eczema worse has to be eliminated. Secondly, for eczema and psoriasis, you want to focus on beefing up, potentizing, strengthening the digestive system. So number one, eliminating problem foods. Number two, getting on the best probiotic supplement you could find. I've said this so many times before. I'll say it again. A probiotic supplement, 80 billion units a day, multiple strains of bacteria, something like the Nightly Essence from Longevity, is the cost of doing business for being alive. It's like every business has, if you start a business, you don't argue about the cost of your inventory, you don't argue about your rent, you got to pay for your computers, you got to pay for your employees, whatever it takes to run a business. If you're going to start a business, you got to pay for it. You don't not pay for it. You don't say, well, I can't afford to pay my employees, so I'm not going to have any employees, or I can't afford my computer, so I'm going to run a business without a computer. No, you raise the price on your product and you keep your computer, because you can't run a business without a computer. Well, likewise, in the business of being alive, you got a cost of doing business. You don't say, I can't afford probiotics, so I'm just going to avoid it any more than you say, I can't afford rent, so I'm not going to pay my rent for my business. So probiotics are the cost of doing business for being alive, especially if you're dealing with eczema. And by the way, just these two moves alone, eliminating problem foods and getting on a good probiotic supplement, can make a huge difference for your friend with the eczema. In fact, I'm almost guaranteeing you they're going to make a difference with his eczema. Almost, because there might be some other things going on. Now, in addition to probiotics, you want to make sure he's using apple cider vinegar. You want to make after meals, and you want to make sure he's taking digestive enzymes. Digestive enzymes between meals and digestive enzymes after meals or with his meals. Between meals, they can have a wonderful anti-inflammatory property, and eczema is partially related to inflammation in the skin. So, apple cider vinegar, digestive enzymes, lecithin, probiotics. You can throw in the Z-radical. You can throw in bone soup, eating less food. These are all strategies for supporting the digestive system. Eczema and digestive system are linked like two peas in a pod. There's a couple more things that you want to do directly for eczema. Hang tight, Carl. We'll finish up. And then Ralph and Jeff, stay there. Stay put. We'll get you when we come back from our break as well. All right, back to the phones. Carl in Texas. We're talking about eczema. Carl, you there, bro?
Yes, I'm here, and I wanted to find out real short about the egg thing. Can he not eat eggs?
I didn't say that. I didn't say he can or can't eat anything. I'm just telling you these are things he has to look out for. So probably a good idea would be for him to eat a bunch of eggs and see what happens. That's one of the best ways you can tell about how you're responding to a specific food, especially if it's a food that you like, is eat a whole bunch of it and see what happens. So you may want to eat a bunch of eggs and see what happens. Eggs are a little tricky because sometimes you can eat soft-boiled eggs, but you can't eat hard-boiled eggs, or sometimes you can eat poached eggs, but you can't eat scrambled eggs, or sometimes you can eat raw eggs, but you can't eat cooked eggs. So you got to, or sometimes you can eat cooked eggs, but you can't eat raw eggs. So you got to see how you respond to the eggs and how to the different forms of eggs, to the grains and the different forms of grains. I'm not telling you what he can do or can't do. I'm just saying these are things he wants to look out for. So number one, eliminate those foods, eliminate problem foods. See how he does with foods, and then if there's any food that's a problem, that's going to be something he wants to eliminate. dairy, eggs, grains, peanuts, and soy, or legumes, grains, dairy, and eggs. Legumes include soy and peanuts and beans. Those are the most likely suspects, but it could be anything. And he just has to see how he does. Probiotics, digestive enzymes, apple cider vinegar, the glucogel caps, lecithin, Z-radical, bone soup. These are all strategies for building the digestive system. If he already knows he's got constipation or diarrhea or loose stools or cramping or bloating, which he probably does know he has, then kind of look to see which one of these supplements helps alleviate these digestive symptoms. The bottom line of what I'm trying to say here is focus on the digestive system for eczema or psoriasis. That's number one. Number two, eczema is connected, and all skin conditions are connected to issues with malabsorption of fats or lack of intake of fats. And by fats, I mean fatty vitamins, especially vitamins A and D. 20,000 international units of vitamin A is a good supplement for eczema and psoriasis. Eczema is kind of like psoriasis, except it's the mirror image of psoriasis. Eczema is when skin cells are not growing correctly. Psoriasis is when skin cells are growing too fast. So an eczema plaque looks like pink and sort of raw because the skin cells are not growing fast enough or not growing appropriately enough. And psoriasis looks like plaques where your skin cells are growing too much. They're like mirror images of each other, but they're both very similar in terms of their causes. So focus on fats and fatty vitamins. Vitamin A, 20,000 international units a day. Make sure he's getting some sun. Or he can use fish oil to get his vitamin D or even vitamin D supplements, although I'm not a big believer in the vitamin D supplements. It's much more efficient to help your skin make its own vitamin D in response to the sun. Essential fatty acids, especially from fish oil, especially omega-3 fats from flax as well. Very important for eczema and psoriasis and all skin conditions. Use Udo's blend, use the ultimate EFAs, use fish oil, cod liver oil. Make sure it's Carlson's cod liver oil or some reputable cod liver oil. A cod makes the best kind of fish oils. Don't get the generic fish oil where it just says fish oil because you don't know what you're getting. Use cod and use the liver oil. And then there's minerals. And minerals I lump together with fats because if you're not absorbing your fats, you're probably going to have a problem absorbing your minerals. There's an especially important relationship between zinc and the skin and between zinc and vitamin A. Vitamin A and zinc go together. And all skin conditions benefit from zinc supplementation, especially if you're not getting enough zinc, and most of us aren't unless we're supplementing. 50 milligrams a day of zinc picolinate along with your vitamin A. Make sure he's getting bile salts or taking his fatty substances, his fatty vitamins and minerals with fatty meals and with bile salts and lecithin and the digestive enzymes to make sure he's absorbing these substances, as well as the essential fatty acids. Kind of lump all these fatty vitamins and essential fatty acids and minerals together with fatty meals and with fat support supplements like bile salts, lecithin, and digestive enzymes. Topical vitamin C can be helpful. Topical zinc can be helpful. These are for putting right on the eczematic plaque and eczematic wound. And by all means, make sure that he's on the Mighty 90 just to make sure he's covering all of his bases. The skin turns over faster than any other system in the body. Skin cells are growing turning over every 4 to 8 weeks. That means nutritional deficiencies will show up on the skin really quickly. The skin is like a window to what's happening inside the body. And the good news is the skin conditions will resolve very quickly as well as soon as you start to correct digestive problems and as soon as you start to get some good nutrition in the system. Carl, my friend, if he does everything I just said there, I can guarantee you, almost guarantee you, 99% guarantee that he's going to notice results really quickly within 1 or 2 days probably, but certainly within a week or so.